Try HelloFresh UK to get 60% off your first box, 25% off for 2 months, and to of course help support this channel. Link is down in the description. Thank you for your support. Well, in the context of our season so far, and based on the current League One table, this is a very big episode for Southend United. We face two of our fellow top 6 teams despite going out of form a little recently, and given who we're facing today, it's probably the manager names that are the most surprising. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 27 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Rotherham away and Birmingham at home, two of the fellow top 6, bizarrely managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ange Postecoglou. If you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, as despite falling out of form a little bit, we are remarkably back to the top of the table, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Again, we've got the relegated sides from last year struggling, which has probably helped us at the top of the table. Both Swansea and Cardiff battling it out against relegation, despite being championship sides last year. Sheffield Wednesday's form has dropped off since the last episode, and some of the other big boys like Pompey have started to struggle. So this is turning into a weird League One season, because if you look at Wigan, who are in 3rd place, they're only just averaging 1.6 a game, which is a very odd and low points total for the team up in 3rd. We've got a very condensed division from 3rd down, and at the moment, us and Birmingham, our second opponents today, are running away with it. And that is despite the fact that if we go and have a look at the schedule, we've been in pretty poor form this month. We had disappointment in the EFL Trophy again. We've had a lot of disappointment in League One as well. But we've managed to stay at the top of the table thanks largely to that run you saw part of on camera in October. So you were with me as we beat Pompey comprehensively and smash and grab the win away at Barnsley. We then got a 2-0 win away at Sheffield Wednesday with a Will Ferry brace. Again, not a great performance aside from Daniel Rose, just individual magic when it mattered. It was a brilliant display against MK Dons as we won 6-1 at home to them. Presley with a brace, Dan's the same, 1 each for Baggott and for Hilton. A 2-1 win at home to Swansea City, Presley and Alistair Smith with the goals. We didn't actually play that well, but Smith scored a rocket with 15 to go. Again, individual magic when it matters. We beat Bristol Rovers 3-0 at home in the FA Cup. Proper smash and grab this one. Our first goal was our first shot on target, and our second and third were our second and third. We had a lower expected goals, we had less shots, less on target. We were awful, and we somehow won it 3-0 late on. Baggott, Stewart and Dan's getting the goals there. Then into November and it all fell apart. Away at Salford, we lost by 2-0. We didn't deserve anything from the game either. Against Shrewsbury, we were held to a 1-1 draw after a 90th minute equaliser against us. It was one of the top scorers in the league, but it was so frustrating after Jayden Dans had given us an early lead. We then lost our home to Brighton's 21s to drop out of the EFL Trophy. It looked close, but in truth it wasn't. We briefly equalised before the break and we got a consolation late on. But despite the rotated side, maybe the mistake I made, I changed the keeper as well, and that ended up being quite costly. We did though get a big 3-0 win at home to Stockport, a really good performance with an own goal, a Jayden Dans goal, and Leighton Stewart late on making it 3. But it was back to frustration at home to Wickham, ahead in the 4th minute thanks to a Harry Cornick penalty, behind and never looking back from the 25th. Daniel Rose having a poor game again there, and actually defensively, probably the worst display from our first 11 for a very long time. We did though get a gritty 1-0 away win at Doncaster last time out. A goal from Leighton Stewart, who had to play up front with Cornick because of the injuries we had. We managed to get the win. It was a fabulous, gritty defensive performance, and we were so good at the back. Harrison Parker, big shout out to him alongside Daniel Rose. After that, we faced League 2 opposition again in the FA Cup second round, and this time won by 3-1. Jayden Dans was back and did feature for an hour, with Saxon early scoring a screamer for the opener. He's still here, he still wants to go, as does Joe Tomlinson now as well. So there could be a few departing in January, but at the moment, they're doing enough. It does mean, of course, we've got a 3rd round FA Cup tie to look forward to, and we have drawn Luton's rivals Watford before we play Sheffield Wednesday at home as well. So I think we know what the next episode might be here, and a chance to get revenge for the League Cup tie against them about 18 months or so ago. So that's going to be a pretty big one for us. But now we've got two huge games and a pretty big month. Wigan at home coming later in it as well, with Pompey away. That's third and fourth in the league. Barnsley still a good side in the top half. Doncaster struggling at the bottom, but always seem to make it tricky for us. And Port Vale away, not going to be a rollover. So I'm finding this a little bit of an interesting month. Of course, the big problem with December is fixture congestion. How are we going to deal with it? How are we going to cope? I'm not sure. So let's go and find out the only way we know how. Into the first of today's two games. We're away to Rotherham, managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in 6th place in League One. Birmingham are at home to Wigan, so I guess the positive is that one of the two teams below us will drop points. I'd probably rather Birmingham win, to be honest, because if we're going to have a chance at promotion this year, we need the sides below that have got games in hand to drop points. Wigan have played the most, but I like them to drop off. And then, of course, Millwall and Rotherham have a chance to close the gap. If Rotherham win today, then win their game in hand, the gap's down to 5, just like that. So let's go and get through the tactical meeting. Hopefully my voice is going to hold up for this one. They've kept Fred Onyedinma after his loan from Luton. Josh Onuma is in a number 10 role behind Nombe. They've also got Charlie Taylor dropping down as an experienced left-back. Isaac Smith, who we tried to sign a couple of years ago as a free agent. And the likes of Rathbone and Johansson still going strong. So it is a good League One team. Arguably, there's a few Championship players in there. But this is the team we've gone for. And we've got to be careful with fitness. Because just as Leighton Stewart was finding form, he has got himself out injured again. We've had numerous injuries to Sonny Hilton, who's just on the bench today. Will Ferry is struggling with match load, so I'm looking after him. And Tomlinson's played well, so he's in instead of Parks. There is one departure you can see, though, from the striking area, and it is a sad moment for this football club, because that Brighton under-23s game was also a final appearance for a very special player. He wanted to move on, he was desperate to go, and he's gone on loan to Dorking Wanderers. Harry Cardwell, he wanted first-team football. I didn't want to admit it, he wasn't good enough, and he asked to go and get more game time. I couldn't say no to him, so he's now playing in the National League, and good luck to him. You may have also spotted from the transfer centre, as well as waiting for the arrival of Fernandez, which won't be far away now. We've also pre-agreed a deal that popped up in our scout report for a Scottish player who's out of contract at the end of the season. It is a 17-year-old Sean Rose, who the potential is a little bit different depending on which scout you ask, but there's definitely some potential there. There's definitely some immediate quality, and I feel like he might be one worth taking a punt on. Considering we're paying him like 375 quid a week or something, I didn't feel I could turn that down as a free agent. With all of that out the way, let's get back to the fixture and let's have a look at the 11 we've gone for. This is the team in full as we go for our away tactic with Daniel Rose in goal. Konza, Parker and Baggett, the established back three now. We've got Tomlinson and Matheson, the wing backs, with King and Williams in the middle. And then this time it is Cornick and Clark on the wings, with Aaron Presley through the middle. Looking after Jayden Danns because he's had injuries as well. We've got a fair few of these boys tied down to new contracts for 3 years, but the two strikers, Presley and Danns, will not sign them at the minute. We have, though, tied down the likes of Morehouse, the likes of Daniel Rose, most importantly, for another year, and then also Will Ferry as well. So progress being made, Hilton among that group too. We've got a core of this squad for the long haul. I want to have 3 or 4 Pelly Ruddock and Panzus in this team. Well, let's find out if we can push towards this promotion, surprisingly, with a big win at Rotherham. We wouldn't mind taking a smash and grab style win like we did at Barnsley, but this is going to be a tough test. They've got 6 players coming in, and one of the ones dropping out is a familiar name from the head coach. Jack Fitzwater, a player we're managing over in that save in Japan. He is here on the Rotherham bench here. Slightly different style of career, you might say. But let's go and get into the first half. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer v myself. Can we keep this train going? Because the momentum is flying us through the divisions in a way I've never seen on this channel before. Well, let's see if we keep that up today. It's a horrible rainy day in Yorkshire, and we'll be hoping we can come out with the points. We're just under 10 minutes on the clock, and it is Rotherham who are playing out from the back here with Tyler Blackett. Rathbone goes wide to Onyedinma, and we've got to be wary of his pace. He'll do Matheson, and he's got inside. Good ball for Nombe, and it's off the bar. 2 former Luton men there, and Daniel Rose is up for the second save as well. Brilliant goalkeeping from him again. He might end up being the best signing of this save. I know we spent money on him when we were just coming into League Two, but it's looking good now, isn't it? Back to the edge. in the third time. This is doing my head in. What is going on with the corner tactic? Every time it resets. I've done it so many times properly at the start of the season, before games. I've got myself in charge of it, but it keeps reverting before the start of matches. I know it doesn't save the changes if you do it in game, but why is it not saving the changes from pre-season? I don't understand. When we're defending corners, we want a player on the edge of the area. It's not a great deal to ask. We should have two out there, in fact. It is really frustrating me. Why does it keep reverting? Oh, we'll go and set it again after this game as well. And hopefully it will stick this time. But it is doing my head in. 1-0 to Rotherham, a poor goal to give away. And it looks like this table's tightening up. Don't think us and Birmingham were just going to run away with it. As Williams gets in down the right. Big ball up to the back stick. Clark misses out. Falls for King, no. Oh, I don't think he scored for us yet. But that was a cracking effort. Just over the bar. We're 20 gone. We're coming back into it. We're not going to panic too much. This happened against Barnsley, didn't it? And we still nicked a smash and grab on the road. We've got a goal threat, and that's the most important thing. But the defence is starting to get fatigued. We've got international players in there. We've got people who have played every game. And we've got injuries in certain areas too. We're getting done out wide by Onyedinma. It's a great ball in for Nombe. Tomlinson just clears it, but only as far as Rathbone. Back to Smith on halfway. Now up towards Allardyce and Rathbone. Good ball over the top to Onyedinma. Oh, he is the star of the show. Good block from Konza for a corner. We're in trouble out there at the minute. As Charlie Taylor will take the set piece. We know he's got a good delivery with that left. Isaac Smith loses it. Matheson hoofs away. There was no one on the edge of the box again. Oh, I'm tearing my hair out. Clark into the box. There's nobody there. Would have been a good ball if there was a striker. Why are they ignoring that? I can't work it out for the life of me. Birmingham are beating Wickham, so it's keeping the gap below us, which is good. Cardiff in relegation trouble, now battering Sheffield Wednesday. There is so much of this league this season that just doesn't make sense. I really don't understand it. Every team is so inconsistent, the results are all over the place, and we've been pretty abysmal in this game, if I'm being honest with you. So let's get into the second half. We've done well to keep it to 1, but what reaction are we going to get here? Do we need to go 2 up front at some point? I feel like 4-4-2 might be the solution in this game. And with an hour on the clock, I'm going to go for it. We're not going to sit and wait to be beaten. We are going to get off Trevor Clark for, I think, Will Ferry. And then we've got one centre-half to take off as well. I'll tell you what I'm going to do this time, actually. I'm going to take Matheson off for Jayden Dans. And I'm going to put Konza right back just to deal with Fred. So let's go to the back 4. We'll go Dans up front. We'll go Konza right back. And hopefully with Parker and him on that side, we just got a bit more mobility to deal with that. But Tomlinson staying on the left. Cornick's had a poor game, so Hilton on for him. Let's go really aggressive. 3 changes made. We're all out attack. And hopefully we'll get the reaction we want. Because at the moment, Rotherham just dominating out wide, getting corner after corner and causing chaos. I'm a bit worried about Presley's fitness because we've got another game in 3 days. We'll have to rest him from training if needed. I guess the big question for now is who do we sacrifice? Because Tomlinson will come off for Parks. And then Williams is going to come off too. But do we go for Morehouse, who's got a goal in him? Or Smith, who's been in better form recently? Smith has scored 2 goals from 12 sub-appearances. Morehouse is yet to score this year. But he's probably the better player at the minute. I'm going to go Smith because he's 6'3". With apologies to Jack Morehouse. If you're chasing an appearance record in 10 years, I will regret that forever. But the match momentum is swinging in our favour. We're pushing forward, and if we could nick a result as Ferry just over, it would be a great one. We mentioned this in the Barnsley game. It's not about being vintage on the road. It's about finding a way to try and nick something out of these matches. And if we can get a late goal, it would be spectacular. But at the moment, it's Rotherham on the front foot, and they've got extra men over. Bayliss off the line. It's brilliant defending from Smith. And headed behind for the corner kick. We're going positive. We're chasing the game. But it's not going to do anything now. A 1-0 defeat at Rotherham continues what has been a very patchy run of form for us. This performance not a disaster overall. Maybe I picked the wrong tactic at the start, which I don't often do in fairness. Let's go and have a look at what that does for the table and what the other results were in the division. It has narrowed it a little bit actually because some of those other teams are winning. I didn't realise MK were up in 8th. We beat them 6-1. They were appalling. Sheffield Wednesday did lose to Cardiff. They're now down in 19th. I mean, what a bonkers table. Birmingham wins 6-0. They go clear on a goal difference. If we don't beat them in midweek, I think it's fair to say they're going to be champions. But the rest of it is still very open. Let's go and get Aaron Pressley a rest. And we'll be back in a minute for Wednesday night football. Well, we're back, unfortunately, on Tuesday night rather than Wednesday, so even less time to recover. We've got Aaron Pressley just about fit after being rested from training. Leighton Stewart not quite there. And what you can't quite see behind my head is another injury, this time to Ethan Ingram. But for now, it is the smallest injury list we've had in a while. It is a big game at the top though. It is second v first. With the games in hand below, if we lose this one and Millwall win, for example, it could start to get a bit tricky. So let's go and get through the tactical meeting. We're going to go back to our home tactic, a classic 4-4-2 against a very good Birmingham side. We've got Ange Postecoglou as the manager. Herver at right back, a centre-half in OD who we tried to sign in the summer is phenomenal. Zariki Dembele still there, Schmodic's in the middle and the top scorer in the league on loan from our parent club, an Irish international up front, perhaps the new partner for Evan Ferguson. But let's go and get our 11 picked and we'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, there's a big miss from our team sheet today because we have got a bit of fatigue for Jarrell Kwanzaa, and in the context of this season, we cannot afford to get him injured. So he is going to miss out on the squad today. We're also without backup strikers, so Cornick is doing a job on the bench, but this is the 11 we've gone for. Into the team from the last game come Parks at left back, Morehouse into midfield because again, Williams with the match load we've got to be careful of. Ferry's back in on the left, Hilton's back in on the right, and Aaron Pressley is joined by Jayden Danns up front, who made an impact off the bench in the last game. This is the one as we play against the top team in the league. Last time we said that, we played Pompey and we were brilliant. Got a feeling this side might be a little bit better. Let's see what Ange Postecoglou's got up his sleeve. The League One manager is looking to get promoted. Here they are, the League One side with bundles of quality. Reece Norrington Davis drops out, another championship level player. Look at the bench, they've got a bit of quality there as well. This is an incredible side. Let's have a look at the dressing room. Prove a point, lads. Get the motivation up. And hopefully we get a performance. It's a sold out Roots Hall. Going to be a big crowd in for a lot of these big games. But can we produce the performance? Can we avoid injuries with the heavy match load? It is 2 games a week, every week until the new year. And we've got to try and cling on and rotate this squad as Jayden Danns goes back to Parks and now King. I mean, going in contrast, we're up against Nathan Jones Port Vale next, aren't we? As Parker gets it at the back, steps into midfield for Ferry, turns on his left, it's good defending. And it's away as far as Stefanovic, who goes back to his goalkeeper. He's got time on the ball. They're happy to slow it down here, and they are trying to play out from the back. If it's a proper Ange Postecoglou side, we should nick the ball off them a few times, but equally, they're going to cause us trouble going forward, as Parks does well. This is a very long highlight, and I'm worried about that. Harrison Parker, no. That is not the tactical instruction, and it's absolutely abysmal defending. Rose shouldn't have really given it to Parker, but from there, that's very poor as well. Maybe the momentum is going. I know we've played 2 very good sides, but it looks like it's starting to unravel. And the trouble was always going to be once we had 2 games a week. What did we do then? Can we just note, by the way, we've had 1 shot, 1 on target, expected goals 0.00. So the shot we've had a 0% chance of going in, apparently. Is that statistically possible? Surely every shot is 1 in 100. As it's a corner kick after a good row save. Parker's on a yellow card now as well. Seems like the mistake might have affected him. Boy, are we missing Kwanzaa here. As it's headed away by Jayden Danns. Stefanovic into Hall. The goal scorer shoots again. Blocked for another corner. It's been a very poor start. Birmingham looking head and shoulders above the rest of the league. Are they going to deliver it from this corner? Stefanovic into the front post. Headed up more than away. OD back to Offerball. Out to Stefanovic. It's over here. And we get a sigh of relief. We get a breather. But the onslaught has been non-stop here. We've got 10 minutes to the break. We've still only had that 1 ridiculous shot on target, apparently. As Morehouse gets it in the middle. And now King's giving it away. What's going on back here? This isn't even our tactical style. We don't play shorter passing. We don't play out from the back. I don't really get why they're trying to do it. But it's certainly not working either way. Behind for another corner. Are we still on key highlights? I feel like we're watching some very bizarre ones here. It's another in-swinging corner for Stevanovic. Oh my God, the man's gone from the edge of the box again. What is going on? I've gone and set it specifically after the game again. And it's still happening. I can't take it anymore. Longelo has got a free kick on the left. Why on earth does it keep resetting? Schmodic's up to Kennedy. I mean, it doesn't matter for this game because Birmingham City are playing us off the park. We have found the strongest team in League One, everybody. And we have found what is going to be the champions at the end of this year. No one has done this to us at home this season. Half-time, 2-0 and outplayed. And Birmingham City, by far the best team we've played at this level. Let's go and get into the second half. And hopefully we can keep the score down. As Ferry's got a free kick. Good save by the goalkeeper. We're going to get anything out of this, or even a goal. We're going to need a moment of magic because we're doing nothing from open play. Thankfully, their top goal scorer has got injured, so he's off after his goal just before the break. Even that, we're wasting corner kicks, we're wasting opportunities. And we're deservedly a couple of goals down, you've got to say. As Hilton puts a free kick in. Not the best camera angle to see what's going on. Cleared away by Hall as far as Jaden Dans. And he'll bring it back inside for Parker, who finds Matheson. On the right, has the option to go down the line, but in the end is forced backwards to Parker again. He cuts inside, has options from Bagger. But look how high Birmingham are pressing. They're doing proper Ange ball stuff here as well. As Ferry on the left is going to be forced backwards again. Into Parks. King is there. Give it to the playmaker. Produce some magic. Big switch to Hilton. That's a good ball. Runners off him, but he goes alone. Chance to cross. Two in the middle. Jaden Dans is up. Chests it down. Back for Will Ferry. And he gets it just about through the goalkeeper with sheer pace on the ball. Wasn't the most accurate strike, but enough power to see it in. 2-1, we're back in the game. But my word, we don't deserve it, as we've got a throw on the left with Parks. Finds King. We look like we're going to give the ball away every time we try and play out here. Morehouse has carried it forward though. That's very good play. Still going, but challenged in the end. Falls for Matheson on the right, who can put a cross in. Will he do so? Inside to Hilton. Good challenge. It falls for Matheson. Good ball. Keeper comes and does well. We just need one of those to be a mistake, to drop down to the centre forward. Compress the end his goal drought. That's part of the issue here. As Matheson heads away for King. Back to Parker. We've definitely been better since the break. Matheson goes the direct route. Dans will chase it. Herver does well. King nicks it again though. Ferry's got two in the middle. Goes alone. Morehouse. It's in. And it's his first goal of the season, but it's going to be disallowed. The flag goes up. That looked tight. But I'm not going to scream for VAR. I'd far rather have this. 25 to go. There's a few poor performers here. We're going to have to make changes. I'm going to persist with Presley because we're away at the weekend and we'll just play Dans on his own. But it's going to have to be Hilton off for Cornick. It's going to be Morehouse off for Smith. And in defence, we're going to go... Maybe Parker on the yellow. We'll take him off for Fernandez. Anxious is Luke Matheson. He'll be replaced by Tomlinson. And then we've got one more sub for a bit later on. But overall, we are showing signs in the second half. And maybe Birmingham have just decided to sit on the 2-0. I don't know. But we've got to try and find a route back into this. And I'm not sure how it comes. We've not really got options to bring on for the tired striker. So I'm going to go King off for Williams. And we'll switch to two midfielders. But I believe that's the best we can do. And I hope that fresh legs will make the difference. Because here we are. Have they just brought sub 1 on? Is he not a goalkeeper? That seems a little bit odd, as they've got a throw on the left to Dembele. Come on, give us a draw out of this. Then I will believe. If we get something out of this game where we were genuinely completely outclassed for the first half, then maybe we've got an opportunity as we're growing into it with Ferry and Dans to Cornick. We've committed men forward. Stay onside. Cornick into Presley. Oh, he should have scored. And if he'd been in form, he would have. But not only has he missed it, he's put it out for a throw. From 6 yards, that's not ideal. But we've got back in the game. We've been very strong in the second half. And while we might well end up losing this game 2-1, there are some positive signs out of the way we've finished this. 2 defeats and a pretty poor month and a half now it's been. We're still up in the top 2. We're still fighting hard. But the fixture congestion for a squad that perhaps isn't quite as strong as some of the bigger boys in the league is maybe going to get found out. If Millwall win their game in hand, they might well just be 1 point behind us, but everyone's been so inconsistent this season. We're starting to drop off after a promising start. I think we know Birmingham are going to be the champions. We've got fitness concerns with 2 games a week coming. This is problematic. But we kept it tight. We didn't lose much on the goal difference. And we're still in a very good position. At the start of the season, I would have been ecstatic if you'd offered me this. We are going to be back though at the start of January because it is Watford in the FA Cup third round. Sheffield Wednesday are suddenly struggling, but I feel I've got to show you a game against the big boys. So Watford and Sheffield Wednesday will be the two. Hopefully an FA Cup third round shock, but with the fixture congestion before it, we'll unfortunately probably have to rotate a bit. If you're looking forward to it either way though, and seeing whether we can respond to what has been a poor month in League One, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. As now 4 defeats in 7 and just 2 wins in that time as well. Things are starting to look a little bit hairy from our point of view. But surely in the circumstances, we've got to be pleased because anything other than relegation was success for this year. If you want to stay up to date and find out how the rest of the season goes, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Let me know where you think we should improve in the January window. We've got 1 or 2 leaving and that young Portuguese striker coming in. But where else do we need to look to improve the team? And who do you think we're going to let go? Because there's 3 or 4 who are starting to push their way out or who are wanted. And with the big 2 up front having only 18 months on their contract, we might get forced into something we don't want to do. The window will be open when we return in a couple of days' time, so we'll start to find out the answers to all of those. But between now and then, we are back with a head coach tomorrow. And trust me, it is one you do not want to miss. You can find the playlist so far up in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel, the football podcast for regular Championship and League One predictions. And of course, you can also find a link for HelloFresh UK down in the description, where you can get 60% off your first box, as well as helping to support the channel. But thank you very much for your support as always, it's greatly appreciated. I'll see you back here next time, as a Luton fan, we try and cause an FA Cup shock with Southend and beat the rivals Watford. Fingers crossed, we'll find our form again for that one.